We on? Greetings, family. You are now locked on to politically incorrect. Yeah, let me get it.
Barbados, sweet paradise. But the politics stirs full of lies. They want mash up the culture, tear it to the ground. But the people, we stand strong, we hold it rock down. Wake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up. It's time to rise. Time to see clear, time to open our eyes. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you don't mind. Real news for the people in real time. Love, respect. Welcome to politically incorrect, politically incorrect, politically incorrect. Love, respect. Welcome to politically incorrect, politically incorrect, politically incorrect. Wake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, shake up. Wake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, shake up, wake up. Wake up.
Yes, family. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Reserve Menin. One perfect balance. Y'all already know. Welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. And by chance, if we're not correct, feel free to correct us. This is now Monday, the 16th February already. So we have passed all the New Year, the holidays. We're past the what do you call it? The February 11th date. We're past all the victories, all the disappointments. We're past all of that. And here we are now on a fresh Monday. And I can't take this call right now. I'm doing a live. So this is where we at right now. Whew, is this the storm after the calm? That's just the question. Is this the storm after the calm? That's the question we're asking ourselves tonight. Is this the storm after the calm? Let me put this call to rest so that we don't have this disrupting the program. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Right. We good to go now, family. Again, welcome. Let me just throw the comments in here. We got some folks to greet tonight. We have a few videos to show tonight. Very important things that you may have missed in the last few days. This is almost critical. We're going to share this information tonight. So I'm going to tell you right now, go and share this with your friend, your family, you know, all those folks wearing those red shirts. Yeah, go. Red and Ready crew. This is for the Red and Ready crew. Tonight's video is definitely for the Red and Ready crew. Without questions. Go call my people. Yes, I'm wearing a blue shirt tonight. Yes, I'm wearing blue. But this for the Red and Ready people. Tonight. I got some videos to show you. They're very serious, very critical things you must know. And this is going to set the stage what happens next, whether we like it or not. And so this is why I'm talking about my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You know, a few days ago, some things would have happened that is very crucial as to where we go forward as a people, especially for the region, the Caribbean. If you're living in the Caribbean, you have family from the Caribbean. If you're living abroad, you want to tune in tonight. So go tell your peoples Politically Incorrect is up and running, and we do have some pertinent information to share. Today was the swearing in, as they call it, for all those new ministers and all that other stuff. But make no mistake about it, despite all the speeches and all the different things you were told, this is almost a message for Miss Motley direct. Like, this is literally a message for her personally. And all you so-called ministers, I don't know how this is going to unfold tonight, man. You know, this is going to be serious, serious, serious. But we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it, man. Like I said, I got some stuff to show. Yeah, this is for the Motley crew, without question. So let me just jump right into it. You got to stick around to this video. And although it's not a long video, but the different parts of this video I'm going to show you, you got to listen to what this man is about to tell the world. That you cannot make this up. And when I say you cannot make this, you cannot make it up. So, Marco, right, hold on, let me pause it because I don't want to get ahead. Hold on. Marco Rubio, this is a whole different conversation. Y'all need to hear this because when he speaks, things happen. Let Venezuela, let the events that would have unfolded in Venezuela be I don't want to sound the alarm here, but let it be a wake-up call. Like, let that be an alarm going off in your head that, wait a minute, did they just do that? Yeah, they did. Let that be an alarm, family. And you know what? Let me just jump right into it because we ain't got no time tonight. I know it's a bit after the time. So let me go ahead and put some stuff up real quick. Hang on. This is for the Red and Ready crew tonight. So we're going to just drop it in. Let me see how we're going to run this program. We're going to run it like this. Let me go ahead and put the number on the screen in any event anybody's interested in. There you go. I know it's way past 8. Don't worry about it. We here. So let me just jump right into this. First thing first, let's go acknowledge the people that need acknowledging. Anybody who's tuning in to Politically Incorrect. Good night to you too, family. Greetings and blessings to you as well. Upfulness, joyfulness. How is the audio coming out there? Give me a sound check, somebody. Let me know how you're receiving it on your side, wherever you are. Let me know. Shout out to the Clark family. Clark family, listen, I was down by the fishing complex this morning. Things happening, but we're going to discuss fishing in a minute, though, and the Caribbean. Good night to the family in Guyana. Greetings to the entire Barbados. Shout out to Rhonda Lane from Guyana, our affiliate down there. Family from across the water. Greetings to you too, Gwenny. Greetings to you and the whole family. Greetings. Greetings, one and all. Greetings to you, Marcia Welch. I almost saw that. I just had to check myself. Good night to you too. That'd have been a surprise. Yes, Pedro. Ayaman, Wagwan, Rastafari. Greetings, King. Yo, tonight, Pedro, I will need you, man, on a different level, brethren. Like, I'm going to drop some videos here for the people. Tonight, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, I can't even believe this man actually said this in a room full of white folks. And by the way, don't get me wrong when I say a room full of white folks, because I don't want to be misunderstood. This isn't a Nina Simone moment, but it was one or two, folks there that look a little like us. But what I'm saying is that this isn't a room full of European individuals. What was said is alarming. And I mean alarming. A bell should be going off. Greetings to you two, family. Peace to the whole family. The daffodil family, the garden, all the flowers. Good night to you too, Maureen. Greetings to you and the family. Maureen, go tell a friend to tell a friend. Go ahead and like and share. I ain't going to jump into it yet, so you ain't going to miss anything. But go and tell a friend to tell a friend. For sure. Greetings to you too, Sean. Greetings, 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 greetings. Greetings to you too, Richard. Listen, Richard, you ain't gonna believe what this man said, man. You ain't gonna believe it, man, at all. Emmanuel, we astonished to preparing for a storm. We accustomed to preparing for storms. Well, Maureen, this is a kind of different storm, though. I ain't going front. This is a colonial storm. In fact, this is not a new storm. We have the evidence of the last storm to prepare us properly and adequately for this storm. So I agree. We accustomed, but we're gonna have to definitely study to show ourselves approving this time. Yes, we also got videos from Mr. Ralph Torn. We also have a message for Mr. Ralph Torn. And greetings to you too, family. Easy D in the building. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm telling y'all, what I'm going to share tonight is going to be very concerning for those who know what's going on. You see the rest of folks in the red and ready shirts that don't have a clue? Because I told someone this afternoon, don't forget, Gideon's army is not for everyone. So I don't expect some kumbaya moment, the nation going to rally around politically incorrect, and we all going to be just singing in the rain. Listen, we're not even looking for that. You know, this is a conversation for the other people, the noblemen, the men and the women with the one knee down and the one knee up. This is for the men and women that know what time it is, that understand divine order, which rules above all things, not some things. It's not about the other orders that establish themselves as gatekeepers and basically the ones that have been perpetuating this thing for some time. We're not talking about them. We also got a video tonight about a gentleman that happened to, our paths connected at some point, and we're going to share his video as well. I'm going to save his video for last. And this video here is a little touching, though, I must admit. It's going to be a little touching. He's 71 years old. And I wasn't going to do it at first. I asked him, I could tell the story about you, but even if I tell it, it wouldn't be the same way. Do you mind if you tell it yourself? He's like, nah, I had no problem. And so I did the video, but I'm going to share that video a little later in the program. And also I want to shout out to my other people dealing with the other elder who's living in, for what I understand, squalor. At that age, almost left to die, renting some, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know, man. Election. The Red and Ready crew, y'all got work to do since y'all claim y'all about to do the work. It's great. Okay, give thanks, family. Good night to you and everyone as well. Loud and clear, loud and clear. Okay, mic check, mic check. That's good. One says no feed forward, nothing like that. Let's jump right into it. Yes, Maureen, we know the St. Lucian boat got blown up a few days ago. Men missing on a live. Who's next? I got the video as well of that incident, and that's what I'm also going to talk about, because it wasn't about St. Lucian boat. Yes, but the reality is this happened right in the middle of where we at. This is no longer down in Venezuela or across in the Gulf or in the Pacific, down by Colombia, where they're saying they're smuggling narcotics, narcotic terrorists, or whatever they call it. This is right amongst us. This was allegedly supposed to be, carrying some whatever. I don't know how they know. Anyhow, fishermen are not even safe right now. Clark family, that's what I was telling you. We're going to talk a little later about that. I'm going to play that video too, Maureen. But before I get into that video, before I get into what happened in St. Lucia, and between St. Lucia and St. Vincent, by the way, which is only 80 miles. Understand this happened right off the coast. You could see this. You could see this. This is not like something that we're seeing on CNN. People saw this explosion. And so we're going to get into that, though. Fishermen in St. Vincent saw this explosion. They said there were not even one. There was two. But anyhow, we're going to get into that in a minute. Hearing loud and clear. Good night to you, too. Good night to Miss Knight. I'm happy that you're joining us. And everyone else tuning in, go tell a friend to tell a friend. Good night, one and all. Rhonda, greetings to you, too, Miss Paris. Good to see you. Good to have you with us. Long time no see. Shout out to you and the entire family. Y'all already know. Stay tuned, because this is going to affect you guys as well in the Americas. So if you're in the Americas, you're in Canada, you're in Europe, wherever you are, stay tuned. I'm going to just drop this video in a minute. Rhonda, I see you loud and clear. Your voice sounds sad. My voice sounds sad. Well, you know what? Oh, she said, Oh, be strong. Well, you know what? I don't know if it sounds sad or not, but if it's sounding sad, Rhonda, I am definitely not sad. I don't know what sadness is like at all. There's too much energy, bursting with energy. But noted, Rhonda, noted. The message was to the European partners. Okay, I like how you eloquently put it, though. European partners, definitely, that is being politically correct. I definitely agree with you. But anyhow, greetings to you too, Violet. Oh man, okay. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Frank Low in the building. Give thanks to you too. Yes, Daffodil, loud and clear. Well, listen, let's just jump right into it, family, without any further ado. This is too important. Um, it is interesting, but before I get into that part of what Romulo would have said, and that's so critical, I honestly, personally believe that what happened here last week on Friday the 11th is an indication of what is to come. And so, there's an old saying my grandmother always said, and I've heard other people say it as I was growing up, that when you see a man fall, you don't laugh, you learn. And the reason I'm saying that is because I remember the night before the election. I remember it because, I was telling someone I did the Tuesday night program. We had the Tuesday night folks. Alex was on and we spoke. And then there was Wednesday. And I was telling you this is the calm before the storm. It seemed that was the calm before the storm. But then something changed. Yeah, something changed, all right. And so, yeah. So things were like really quiet. I thought I was a bit strange. It was very quiet. And now here we are. So I decided to watch a few videos, And one of the videos I came across was Miss Motley's platform, the Red and Ready crew. I big Red and Ready crew, talking about what plans they have for the next day and whatnot. Come out on board. So then I was like, well, this is traditional me and Motley stuff. So I switched over and I stumbled across the other party, the yellow party, and I came across a presentation that was being given by a few people. Couldn't believe it, boy. Oh man! But anyhow, James Paul, we won't even touch there. We're not even going to touch James Paul. But I was listening to Mr. Thorne speak, and one of the things he was speaking about was Miss Motley's, younger years as a teenager in school and post school, and her trip to Europe, and her not being academically inclined, and she not being academically inclined. I know that Mr. Thorne is a candidate or recipient of the colonial education that would have been meted out to the men of his time from the college known as the Harrisons, and whoever the Harrisons were, which is a whole nother conversation. But at the time, that school didn't even allow females to be part of it. Think about that for a second. That school was just all males. We don't want no women in here. You're not allowed. It's us thing. But anyhow, whatever happened back then, I don't know. But one of the things he was alluding to several, in that his presentation was her life at that stage of her life as a young lady, not getting the, qualifications or academics. I don't even know what he was really trying to imply. Then he went on to talk about some 9 months period when she was by the British High Commission, when the others were studying abroad. Now, politics is a thing where they say you get into politics, it's a dirty game, or politics is a dirty game. And I always felt that Mr. Thorne was always, and that's why I would always call him Mr. Thorne. Sometimes I may slip up there and refer to him as Ralph if that passed through, but I wasn't, somebody would, Mr. Thorne. I always saw him as a particular way, in a particular light, this, individual that presented himself a sort of way. My challenge came the night when I was listening, and I didn't listen for much. I just heard that part, and it was a bit discouraging. In fact, it was very discouraging, because I would like to think that Mr. Thorne, despite all, would have kept to a certain level. Now, I never thought he had an opportunity to win. I never felt he would have done anything at all. I never did. I felt there were some questions. that Barbadians needed to hear a response to that would have given them the indication that this man had the testicular fortitude to stand up and speak that truth like he displayed in Parliament on a weekly basis, speak that same power, that same truth, not just to the colleagues across the floor, most of whom is part of the same members of the same bar, lodge, whatever association it is, that club. But rather speak truth to real power, speak that to the people that really, because, when it came to that, well, I ain't even going to go on that road. But when the question was asked about the COVID situation, when it asked about the vaccine situations and certain other things in Barbados, I just found he lacked a response that merited the kind of support he was looking for. It just seemed not present. And what was my proverbial straw was when he was asked a question about Venezuela and his response, and I probably should have cued that video rather than saying it because I don't want him to accuse me of misquoting him. His response, if I'm not mistaken, and if I'm not correct, feel free to correct me, but I'm sure he said something along the lines to the effect that he would not give a response to it. He would let CARICOM give a response to it. If I'm not mistaken, and if I'm not correct, somebody please correct me. But I'm thinking, how you mean you ain't got a response to what happened in Venezuela with Trump going on there and snatching, but shucks, even I had a response to that. I mean, you're in a position where you told leadership and power, and although CARICOM may have things in place and people in place, as an individual, what are your thoughts as a potential future leader of this nation? What are your thoughts about what happened, how it happened? Like, wait a minute, that seemed a little wrong, anyhow, maybe he did say something else somewhere else, and maybe I don't have that knowledge. But nevertheless, like I said, I felt my main question was, you're the King's Counselor or not King's Counselor? Because if you are a King's Counselor, Mr. Thorne, who is the king you're counseling? That was just one of the main questions I needed answered. That was just me. So like I said, I didn't think that Mr. Thorne would have successfully gotten this thing. I felt that some of his other associates perhaps had the potential maybe to perhaps be a contender. But then again, like I said, politics and campaigning is a different conversation. But anyhow, I came across this video afterwards, and I thought again, this is why I said what I said, because if Mr. Thorne had a chance of winning, any chance of winning in this election or selection, because that's really what it is, I felt he lost it that night by going down a path that insulting Ms. Motley for her political decisions is one thing. Insulting the teenager Motley is another conversation. It's just another conversation. And I'm not sitting here trying to play holier than thou. I'm simply saying, when we reach a point where even if we recognize our wrongs, we make wrongs right, man. And one of the ways that would you'd have been able to do so is to stay in the fight, Mr. Thorne. I know you didn't say you wasn't leaving the fight, but anyhow, I just want to play this real quick, Mr. Thorne, because I need you to reflect on this. And my position is very clear. I don't mind you watching cricket on the tree on an evening. I just think that you should be still in this fighting, especially in light of what I'm going to play tonight. Because there are people who bought into your opposition narrative 100%. Folks that were even conscious, that were mobilized way before you was even across the floor, that would frequent social media on the different programs, specifically, that were caught up in the momentum of, change needs to happen in Barbados. That would have been hand delivered to you pretty much on a platter. I know, man. I think folks are disappointed and think folks are saddened, speaking of sad. But let me just go and jump at this real quick.
Can't say about the results, and what does this mean now for your political career?
Well, obviously, the result is disappointing since I don't go into anything to lose in terms of career. I think this is an opportunity to return to private life, to spend a lot more time with the children who've made a tremendous sacrifice, particularly during the last 2 years while I fought tremendous battles in the House of Assembly as one person against an entire government.
You were not one person against an entire government. You had Tricia Watson with you, Mr. Thorne. Like, you really had Miss Tricia Watson. And despite all, anyhow, I want to get to one part. Hold on.
And bringing the party back to a place of respectability in Barbados.
Bringing the party back to a place of respectability in Barbados, the DLP. If this was indeed true, I would suspect that you would have won at least one seat. Because in reality, the 30 Love started with you know who. And the other 30 Love was given to you know who. And now this 30 Love, well, that was handed out, well, to you know who. So they not, like, when you say brought it back to a level, what do you mean by that? Because that was not seen in the way things unfolded. So, but hold on, wait a minute.
It has been 2 years, 2 heavy years. The parts of it I enjoyed, of course. I love the debates. I love the political debates. I love the political debates in Parliament. Many times I saw it as a teaching moment when I was not only speaking to the Parliament, but speaking to the people of Barbados and offering explanations as to legislation, as to how legislation is structured, as to the purpose of legislation. And bringing political philosophy and sociology into political debate, because a lot of...
Well, like I said, Mr. Thorne, again, we want to thank you for your service in the arena of the Parliament, and you have done several good deeds and brought several things to light to the people of Barbados. And if nothing else, politically incorrect, we thank you for that. We thank you for your service. And despite you didn't say you were leaving, in fact, let me play that part. Let me play that part. Hang on.
Debate or legislation tends to be dry, and it deals with the dry bones of the law. And sometimes you need the soft flesh of philosophy to give law a larger context. So I will miss that. I really do admit I will miss that. But there will be a return to the things I love to do. There is nothing more pleasurable than watching cricket on Saturday afternoons under a tree. There's nothing more pleasurable than family life. Family life can be extremely pleasurable. And as you know, I have practiced law over the last 42 years, uninterrupted. There's the return to that without the involvement of politics. So that's it.
So just for clarification, are you saying you're cutting ties with the Democratic Labour Party
I did not
and
say
that you are leaving politics altogether?
No, I did not say that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that obviously I have to look at my career. I don't think having brought the party back into respectability, and we really competed. I mean, the result in the first past the post system is one-sided, but we fought a very, very good campaign. It was clean, it was deep. We offered solutions for the future of the country, and if I may say so without being too modest, I claim some responsibility for bringing the party back to this state where it is a fighting machine. I hate to use cliches, but it is a fighting machine.
Okay, so like I said, he doesn't want to, at the risk of not sounding modest, he's saying that he brought it back to becoming a fighting machine. I just gonna leave that there. I just gonna leave that there. She say Rasta just don't like Torn. Ms. Jills, it's good to have you with us, providing you're still with us. No, I don't have an issue with Mr. Thorne. I've met him. I've seen him on many occasions. We've had several conversations in between. So that, no, it's not a case I liking or not liking. I just had some questions I felt that Barbados and Barbadians might be interested in. And perhaps if you didn't have those questions, or the people that you associate with didn't think those questions were relevant, well, again, there are others who felt they were, and they should have been given the ear and a voice to at least ventilate and have a conversation about those same questions. Nevertheless, I thank you for sharing as well. You wanted him to tell you realistically, we are not sovereign nation. Well, I didn't want him to say that realistically. I just felt that there are a number of things that he could have shed some light on, that I felt that he lost his spine in the moment. For example, Bostic being nominated as president. Like, if there was ever time to show Barbadians that he was diametrically opposed to the regime that he kept every week advocating that he was against, and the policies they were doing and the decisions they were making, why did he not fight that decision? Like, wait a minute. Should not he have also had a recommendation? Well, I don't know. I'm not saying Bostic is not a good candidate, but so and so and so and so, a person that's a bit more neutral in things, as opposed to somebody who's literally just resigned from his post, as a minister, as a result of some scandal involving the purchase of vaccines by you-know-who, from you-know-who, with you-know-who money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. Like, again, Ms. Jills, that's what I'm talking about. How could you see these things and not have a question with Mr. Torn? Well, how come well, but shucks, you endorse this? And why? What was your reasoning? On what grounds? Other than the fact that he was a military man. Anyhow, like I said, just questions. But I won't get into that too much more, because like I said, it's not about Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne, he went in there, he did what he was supposed to do. Like I said from the inception, I asked that if it was a coup to defy the DLP, because again, it wasn't that long ago where folks were locked out of a building that they were members of. And I mean, I was allowed in. Like, literally, I got to the gate. They's like, nah, let him in. They allowed me in without question, without reservations. And I watched women that were in their 70s having needs just to use a bathroom being rejected. Like I said, that was a change. That Sunday afternoon was a changing moment for a lot of people. A line was definitely drawn on that day. And, quite frankly, a lot of folks haven't crossed it since. But that is what it is, and that's what it is. I wasn't aware he had young children. Well, his wife is wait a minute. Hold on. She's a judge. Maybe they had an offspring. I don't know. Or maybe he has grandchildren. Or maybe he just meant children in general. I don't think Mr. Tom. I don't know his personal life. I wouldn't. If he does have young children, I'm not sure. All them just do talk about one another, not only Thorn. All them just do is talk about one another, not Thorn. No, I agree. No, Ms. Jills, I totally agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you that they do that. What I'm saying, I always felt Mr. Thorn himself would not have resorted to such, behavior. I felt that he always presented himself as a noble man on a certain level, and I didn't think he would be on a platform speaking about Miss Motley. Not even Miss Motley's affairs, current affairs, but as a young lady, post-secondary school, in that stage of her life, I just felt that was a bit tasteless. I felt that was a bit, that's just, again, if you listen to it, a lot was said, a lot was implied, a lot was suggested. Her at the house of the British High Commission, and I'm sure at that time it was a male, her being there for 9 months, and he harped on the 9 months. I'm not sure he's trying to suggest Miss Motley, she had the 9 months flu or something. I don't know. Anyhow, you'll never know what they did when it We will never know if they didn't win a couple of seats. Well, Marcia, I'll be honest and tell you this. I mean, you say we wouldn't know if they won a couple of seats. You know, when we understand politics of the people, we would understand that it is not what we think it is. In my opinion, he was the final unraveling of the DLP party. And unfortunately, some of the young candidates suffered an unnecessary loss. Well, I agree with you on that one, Maureen, totally, in more ways than one. And so the reality is that, like, take Michael Lashley, for example. Michael Lashley crossed the floor. He left the DLP, big candidate, big Ralph supporter, Mr. Thorne supporter when he first crossed. And then suddenly vanished. Although he was having conversations with other people as well, he crossed the floor. He went to Michael and he won. Now, do you think if Michael Lashley had ran in St. Philip, or better yet, if you think if Michael Lashley had ran in Bridgetown in the same position as a DLP candidate, do you think honestly he would have won? Michelle said, "You believe in Motley." I don't believe in anything. But let me show you something. Let me ask you a question here, Ms. Jills. Do you think that Michael Lashley, had he ran with Mr. Thorne, had he stayed with Mr. Thorne rather than walking across the floor and joining the Democrat and joining the Barbados Labour Party and running in St. Michael, do you think had he stayed and ran as a DLP candidate, you're telling me that you think he would have won that seat? And being honest, you felt he would have won? Nobody won their seats. Miss Motley won the election. She's the charismatic one. She's the one that people are really endorsing. The others are subsidiaries. They benefit from her being who she is. So it's not even a case where they had a chance. We're not even going to talk about Ryan Walters and Neil Rowe situation. I suppose it was the least, what do they say, between a rock and a hard place. But who knows? All I'm saying is, man, let's be realistic about this. Shout out to Betty, by the way. I'll leave it at that. We ran into each other in the you know where. I'll leave it at that. And thanks for the support as well, Betty. No. Speaking about Venezuela. Okay. But hold on, Pedro. We're going to touch on that in a minute. He didn't have no foreign policy. Well, guess what? You can't be a minister at that level and not have a foreign policy. Rhonda said, I remember that show. That's right, Rhonda. We all remember that show. Good night to you too, Beverly. Greetings. Let you know getting up. Greetings again to the brother. Shout out to the family in ATL, man. The elections was about the leadership. And that's the bottom line, man. And people come on here and tell me that I am a Mia Motley supporter. I all kind of thing they call me. I'm for the people. I make it clear. In fact, tonight there's a whole message to Miss Motley in a minute, and we're gonna get into it in a minute. Hold on. She said, I think the EBC chair win the election. I am totally, he said, Pedro, I totally agree with you, Pedro. Totally agree with you. That's what it is, man. And once we come to the realization that it's an elite club, you know, the same folks that I told y'all were running the system for the last 400 years is the same people running it today. The one or two candidates they pull in to give it the impression that, you know, all of we in this together is the illusion of inclusion. Trust me, they know we in this. There's the order and the orders that they receive from the orders they are part of. And that's just what it is. And so we could sit here and we can go back and forth like minions all day long debating which massa is better. The reality is massa work for the plantation. Like I keep telling you, the Shafet manager only manages the branch. The branch manager is equivalent to your constituency candidates. You know what I'm saying? Then there's somebody who supervises the branches of Shafet. But the person who supervises all the branches still don't own Shafet. The owners of Shafet probably don't even live here no more. We don't even know. The point is, the structure is still the same as a corporation, man. No one seems to consider the behavior of Saturday before the lockout as a factor in reaction on the Sunday. What action should have been taken on the Saturday, in your opinion? I you know what? I'm glad you said that because I said this before. And in fact, hold on, before I actually give a response to that, let me play this other video. I got one more video to play. I got one more. Regarding this whole, yeah, let me share this one instead. Let me share this one instead here. See this fella right here? The chap right here, I ain't going to say much about it at all. This is not what I'm going to even speak on. These, I tell you, these are all theatrics, family. Don't get it twisted. You know, I watched this program briefly. Well, I'll go back to it in a minute. But let me go to the part which I'm getting at. Let me get to the part where I'm getting at. Let me just pause here a minute for reasons to be told in times to come. In times to come. This, by the way, is the attorney known as Christian Turton. He was one of the guests on this platform, along with some other folks. And a lot of folks had an opinion about a lot of things. Miss Hines was on there as well. A lot of individuals. But if you start to really pay attention, and you pay attention, you see a lot of similar traits that these individuals possess. Make no mistake about it, family. It is not what it appears to be, at all. But this is what I want to get to here. Now, the question was asked just now, what do I think about the events that happened this Saturday? Hold on a minute. Hang on a minute. Yeah. Okay. In my opinion, what should have happened this Saturday? Now, as far as, like, I've seen a few tapes on what happened on this Saturday, and I may agree that things could have been a bit more orderly, for the sake of the objective of it, the objective or the objection of it. But that is not how it unfolded. That's not how it unfolded. And so I don't doubt that there were individuals who deliberately set out to disrupt the events of Saturday that caused the whole thing to appear to be what it was for the Sunday. But to my knowledge, Sunday was supposed to be a day of worship for most people in Barbados that are Christian. I'm sure a lot of the people in that particular house, that party, are Christians. And therefore, I would like to think that that would have been the mindset at the time. But I had a conversation with this gentleman. In fact, let me see if I can make this. Let me try it this way. Yeah, I had a conversation with this gentleman on that particular day, this Sunday, before anything really kicked off, to some degree, before Mr. Thorne had arrived. And we had a conversation, and I said to the gentleman that as the president, in spite of all things, you know, why not go across the street where the folks were camped out, in a sense, have a conversation. Look, we know what happened yesterday. This is Sunday. This is how we worship. Let us have this evening celebrate. Let's come together for this evening, and let's resume ironing things out in the days to come. Because the objective should have been to bring solidarity to the party, as opposed to, you know, pouring more gasoline on clearly a raging fire. So what I felt should have happened this Sunday as a result of what took place the Saturday should be a reconciliation, if for no other reason, for the fact that it was considered to be a day where we worship and we give praise to the Almighty and the coming together, rather than having it where, well, we're going to lock you out and have it that way. No, we're going to open up, we're going to come in, and we're going to have a ceremony as we're having it. And when we have finished this, we will continue accordingly in the days to come. But that's just my opinion. Always seek a resolution first. That's not what he did at all, Mr. Pedro. Well, not Pedro. I think his name is Pedro Shepherd. I don't remember. I think so. That's not what happened. Despite the fact that, yes, I was allowed into the facility. While I was in the facility, all I was doing is advocating for those who are outside. Now, bear in mind, this ain't got nothing to do with the Rasta man. So the idea that I support Miss Motley or don't support Miss Motley or whatever people say, it doesn't matter to me. What I'm saying is, while I was there, this gentleman, if he's true to his word, could tell you firsthand, Ms. Jilks, that I spoke to him at length about ways to reconcile the situation by trying to bring peace to the situation. I even told him, when Mr. Thorne comes, I'd like to have a word with him as well to see how best this could be resolved before things escalate. Well, that's not how it happened. And we know how it unfolded. So we won't go back to that. But I want to play part of what he said here briefly. Briefly, like I said, that's what I felt should have happened. I don't necessarily condone what happened this Saturday. A lot of things went wrong, and a lot of things were said that were not done. A lot of things were done that should not have been done and whatnot. But we couldn't go back to Saturday on the Sunday. What we could have done is work to reconcile it. And I felt that that was missing. And as an individual who wants to lead and bring a people together, even in Barbados, if Mr. Thorne could not find it in his heart to reconcile or forgive or try to bring an amendment, a remedy to amend rather the situation and bring remedy to what happened the day before, why are you going to bring a country that divided between two political parties, not the same party that having a difference of opinion, but divided between two parties? What was he going to do with the Red and Ready crew if he became prime minister? Line them up at the garrison and flog them? Anyhow, Mr. Shepherds, I have a moment here for you. Let me just go ahead and play this. Hang on.
Me, Andre Worrell. Good morning to you.
Oh, sorry. Andre Worrell is his name, not Pedro Shepherd. Pardon me.
Your thoughts and how you're feeling after quite a fight.
Well, good morning to Barbados. Well, obviously, this was a part of in the realm of possibilities. I would have given a lot to the campaign and in terms of the party as well. So obviously, we would have hoped that we would have done more in the election campaign. But obviously, the country has decided, so we have to move on and live with that.
Let's talk about moving on and what that looks like to you. You are one of the more senior members right now as it relates to the party. What does that look like?
Well, moving on in terms of the party, well, the party has to decide, what we will do going forward, how we will change our process, and also strengthen our base, obviously, and appeal more to persons within the country. I thought that as a party we did put a good message, but obviously we did not operate on a level playing field in terms of the one party having access to all of the resources, the media, and everything. So these are things that we have to consider going forward.
All right, I'm not gonna put the blame on the resources or the social media or whatnot. I would simply say that three forms of pattern, if not two, three. The reality is Barbados is no longer being ruled by this old order. This is an old order, and clearly y'all ain't get the memo. I've been saying it on this program now for years. See, if y'all take the time to watch Politically Incorrect, perhaps you would have done a little better. But in reality, this is a clear indication that Barbados is no longer interested in what is known as the Democratic Labour Party. It's a vessel that has sunk off the shores of this island, and it will become a coral reef within time, never to be resurrected again. This isn't like Pirates of the Caribbean, where they brought up the Black Pearl. That's not what's happening. This is a done deal. And there are new parties being formed that have gained some momentum, and I am almost certain that that momentum will pick up even more, increasing going forward. And let me tell you why it will pick up. Because the fact remains that this particular party here, Democratic Labour Party, again, is built on old ideas. Miss Motley is building her on futuristic ideas. And if you recognize, I'm not saying she's right for that either. However, the old guard, the old order The old world order, that colonial past is gone. That's finished. That contract is up. And perhaps y'all didn't see it that way, but it is up. And therefore now there's a new player in town, which brings me to what I said earlier about what I was going to play, the video. Now, this video I'm going to play next, family. I'm asking you, I'd only want to say viewers' discretion is advised. I think it's important that I say that in the early stage because, man, and for those who are DLP members on here that may not like me saying this, it might sound harsh. I don't mean to sound harsh. I'm saying that you might have been misled by the people you were hoping for. Because had they told you the truth about what was happening, had they told you the truth, in fact, had the DLP had the courage to come on this platform and we could have a real conversation about the truth of what was going on, not just locally, but regionally and internationally, I guarantee they would have done way better because the people would have been more informed and would have trusted them more, even if it's a case where the hidden hand would have observed their own momentum and perhaps would have given way to it for whatever other reason, because it would have appeared as though they were willing to at least set a new tone. Taking Barbados back to that old time religion, which is the old form of politics. Nah, you ain't not this Barbados. Not this Barbados. But I want to put this here, man. I want to put this out here. So here, let me just go ahead and put this video up. Here you go. Now, this is where tonight's program takes a turn. Like I said, I want y'all to pay attention to what is being said here. I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm going to play part of it, different parts of it. We're going to chop it up a bit. And I could have just simply played one or two parts, but there are too many points here that you need to hear to bring into scope what is really happening. And more importantly, shed light on what happened on February the 11th in Barbados and why Miss Motley and her Motley crew, if I didn't know no better, right? I'm telling you, man, you're going to see a different BLP at this point going forward. You don't believe me? Let me tell you. No, in fact, I ain't going to tell you why you're going to see a different BLP. I'm going to show you why. Hold on a minute. Somebody said here. Hold on. We're not go too far yet. Good night to you too. Tim, I see you, Tim. Hold on. Exactly. Her posters sat on their head, so they were voting for her. I follow you. Tim, yeah, good night to you, family. Elections was already won before the 11th. Look, man, Michael won because he crossed. The BLP won by default because only a small portion of the population actually voted. The data says this. Look, the data don't make a difference. None of that makes a difference. You see, that's the illusion they give you to make you think that it is actually an election. It's a selection. There's no election. There's no election. There's only one outcome. And that is the outcome that the hidden hand desires, man. Remember that. They have to choose a massa, either China, Russia, France, UK, or US. Real talk. Facts, Pedro. Facts. Don't get drafted then. I'm not even touching that. Y'all are too much. Okay, well, hold on. Let me just get into this video here now. Hang on. Let me play this. Like I said, family, I want you to listen to this video very carefully. This is very serious. And I'll play that last video, like I said, in a bit. But let me get into this one here really quick. Let's just get into this right quick. Let's just do this, man. I'm going to start, not at the beginning, just going to jump right into it. I have some points here. So let me go to my markers. Here we are. Yeah. All right. Like I said, family, I need you to pay attention to this video. I'm going to post the link in the comments as well. So maybe you can go back later on after the program and listen to it. But you need to listen to this video. Miss Motley talked the Bridgestone Initiative, talked about Barbados and getting rid of the colonial past. That was the whole thing for a while now, getting rid of the colonial past. Well, I got news for you, Miss Motley. I don't know which colonial you plan on getting rid of. But while you were campaigning and while you were being, you being who you are, this is what took place in Munich, at the security conference. At the security conference. Listen to the name, the security conference. You hear me? All right. Let's have a go at this.
To pursue their own interests.
Hold on.
To appease a climate cult, we have imposed energy policies on ourselves that are impoverishing our people, even as our competitors exploit oil and coal and natural gas and anything else, not just to power their economies, but to use as leverage against our own. And in a pursuit of a world without borders, we opened our doors to an unprecedented wave of mass migration that threatens the cohesion of our societies, the continuity of our culture, and the future of our people. We made these mistakes together. And now together we owe it to our people to face those facts and to move forward to rebuild. Under President Trump, the United States of America will once again take on the task of renewal and restoration, driven by a vision of a future as proud, as sovereign, and as vital as our civilization's past. And
Wait.
Proud, as sovereign, and as vital as our civilization's past. And while we are prepared, if necessary, to do this alone, it is our preference and it is our hope to do this together with you, our friends here in Europe. For the United States and Europe, we belong together. America was founded 250 years ago, but the roots began here on this continent long before.
Okay. If we have to do this alone, we will do it alone, but we prefer to do it with you. Okay, wait a minute. Do what exactly? When you say do it, do what exactly, family? You know what that it he's referring to is? Hold on. Let me just jump forward again. Let me get to it, man. The it is referring to. We've opened our borders. We let a lot of people come in, and now we're not doing that no more. We got a new plan now. And we're going to unite back with our European counterparts for this security conference. Security to preserve us as a people. Hold on.
And Trump demands seriousness and reciprocity from our friends here in Europe. The reason why, my friends, is because we care deeply. We care deeply about your future and ours. And if at times we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern about a Europe with which we are connected, not just economically, not just militarily. We are connected spiritually, and we are connected culturally. We want Europe to be strong. We believe that Europe must survive, because the two great wars of the last century serve for us as history's constant reminder that ultimately our destiny is and will always be intertwined with yours. Because we know
I just want to pause here for special effects. Like, this is the room that he's in giving this talk. And although there are about maybe, I think I saw 3 what we consider to be African or people of African descent. I can't imagine what it was feel like to be in that room at the time. But anyhow, let me just let this play.
because we know that the fate of Europe will never be irrelevant to our own.
The fate of Europe will never be irrelevant to our own. Now, I want y'all to understand what is happening here. In fact, let me let him tell you. Let me play this another clip, then I'll jump into it.
National security, which this conference is largely about, is not merely a series of technical questions. How much we spend on defense or where, how we deploy it, these are important questions. They are. But they are not the fundamental one. The fundamental question we must answer at the outset is, what exactly are we defending? Because armies do not fight for abstractions. Armies fight for a people. Armies fight for a nation. Armies fight for a way of life. And that is what we are defending. A great civilization that has every reason to be proud of its history, confident of its future, and aims to always be the master of its own economic and political destiny. It was here, in Europe, where the ideas that planted the seeds of liberty that changed the world were born. It was here, in Europe, where which gave the world the rule of law, the universities, and the scientific revolution. It was this continent that produced the genius of Mozart and Beethoven.
Let me just say this for a second. I want you to realize that what he's talking about is really Black culture, Mozart and these guys. This not a European, it's not a white thing, just to use these terms loosely at this point for descriptive purposes. But he's speaking in such a way, it's being whitewashed. Like our legacy is being whitewashed. This has been Black nobility ruled Europe. He's talking about Europe, but he's not including the fact that the Moors conquered Europe and civilized it. And it was these same Moors that did it's these same Moors that was up there running around causing havoc, creating all kind of other things that we won't even speak on too much right now, that were eventually chased out with the Spanish Inquisition, that came back to the Caribbean, or came down to the Caribbean, which they were very familiar with, and started the different governing bodies and these families that eventually made treaties and trade agreements with the same Europeans later on down the line that enslaved their own people. But we won't get into that too much right now, because this is, I'll let him finish first before we touch that. But pay attention to what he's about to say, family. You cannot make this up. This man is literally about to tell you what their security plan is. Listen.
Of Dante and Shakespeare, of Michelangelo and Da Vinci, of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And this is the place where the vaulted ceilings of the Sistine Chapel and the towering spires of the great cathedral in Cologne, they testify not just to the greatness of our past or to a faith in God that inspired these marvels. They foreshadow the wonders that await us in our future. But only if we are unapologetic in our heritage and proud of this common inheritance can we together begin the work of envisioning and shaping our economic and our political future.
And our political future, being proud of our heritage. When we talking Barbados about being proud of our heritage, I don't know what we're referring to, if we referring to the heritage of being whipped on a plantation or not, because strict guardians of our heritage. But I don't know, because like I said, that anthem wasn't written with certain people in mind. The language suggests it was an oath that was being issued to the partners or the social partners of the time. Nevertheless, he's saying, no more partners. We're drawing lines now. We're going to put things back the way they were. And how are we going to do this? Let me just skip forward here again. Hang on. Right about here should be good. I think should be good. Yeah, should be good. Let's just get into it. Hold on.
Function of a prosperous and healthy system of global trade. It was foolish. It was a foolish but voluntary transformation of our economy.
Hold on. Go a little further. Yeah, time-wise. Let me just jump in right here. Look, right about here.
Across the West. Together,
listen to this now, family.
we can reindustrialize our economies and rebuild our capacity to defend our people.
Together, we can rebuild our economy and strengthen the capacity to defend our people. I want you to understand, when he's saying our people, I want you to understand, he's saying our people. Understand who he means by our people.
Together, we can reindustrialize our economies and rebuild our capacity to defend our people. But the work of this new alliance should not be focused just on military cooperation and reclaiming the industries of the past. It should also be focused on together advancing our mutual interests in new frontiers.
Advancing our mutual interests in new frontiers. For example, Venezuela.
Unshackling our ingenuity, our creativity, and the dynamic spirit.
Unshackling.
To build a new Western century.
To build a new Western century. Wait a minute. So if this is the new Western century, Pedro, tell me, what was the old Western century?
Commercial space travel and cutting-edge artificial intelligence, industrial automation and flex manufacturing, creating a Western supply chain for critical minerals not vulnerable to extortion from other powers, and a unified effort to compete for market share in the economies of the global South.
Well, okay, I skipping again. I get forward.
Finally, we can no longer place the so-called global order above the vital interests of our people and our nations.
Hold on a minute. Before I get into this part right here, okay, let me just dial it back a bit. Before I get into this part right here, family, I want you to really listen with a spirit. To say, those who have eyes to see, let them see, and those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Election was last week. And all of a sudden, this is what they're having a conversation. Like, don't think that there's not some relationship globally, but listen to what this man is about to say. And this is why I'm telling you that the DLP would have never won. No matter if people voted or not, it wouldn't have made no difference. It wouldn't have made a difference. And this is why. This is exactly why. Listen to this.
Civilization itself.
Listen.
And finally, we can no longer place the so-called global order above the vital interests of our people and our nations. We do not need to abandon the system of international cooperation we authored, and we don't need to dismantle the global institutions of the old order that together we built. But these must be reformed. These must be rebuilt. For example, the United Nations still has tremendous potential to be a tool for good in the world. But we cannot ignore that today, on the most pressing matters before us, it has no answers and has played virtually no role.
No answers and no role. What that sound like to you? None. Dealing with the pertinent matters going on right now, they ain't got a thing to say. The LP had nothing to say about nothing. All they did was spend time highlighting all the mishaps and wrongs that Miss Motley was doing. Like, all governments don't do the same crap. Solutions. Where was the solutions? Hold on. Where was the guts to speak truth to power?
It could not solve the war in Gaza.
Couldn't solve it.
Instead, it was American leadership that freed captives from barbarians and brought about a fragile truce.
So they was waiting on Miss Motley to bring resolution to the crime in Barbados, as opposed to hitting the streets and getting it dealt with. I am aware, right? Let me say this. I'm aware of some of the people that was, that Mr. Thorne would have engaged with. And I know for a fact, if nobody else, there's one man, and I ain't gonna get into all the names, but there's one man I know for a fact that would have told him and shared ideas with him and initiatives that would have helped tremendously. You don't have to be sitting in the, what house it is, or Lara Court, or wherever it is, obviously the Prime Minister. You don't have to be sitting there to make things happen. I know that for a fact. You can actually get things done and get things going just by having a vision and trusting the Almighty that your steps you're on are ordained. Let's go make it happen. Like, I can bear witness to that. But no, the old order. Let me go ahead and finish the speech here, Rubio.
It has not solved the war in Ukraine. It took American leadership in partnership with many of the countries here today just to bring the two sides to the table in search of a still elusive peace. It was powerless to constrain the nuclear program of radical Shia clerics in Tehran. That required 14 bombs dropped with precision from American B-2 bombers. and it was unable to address the threat to our security from a narco-terrorist dictator in Venezuela. Instead, it took American special forces to bring this fugitive to justice. In a perfect world, all of these problems and more would be solved by diplomats and strongly worded resolutions. But we do not live in a perfect world, and we cannot continue to allow those who blatantly and openly threaten our citizens and endanger our global stability to shield themselves behind abstractions of international law which they themselves routinely violate. This is the path that President Trump and the United States has embarked upon. It is the path we ask you here in Europe to join us on. It is a path we have walked together before and hope to walk together again.
A path we have walked on before, and we hope we can walk on it again. I hope we listening, family. They literally telling you that the colonizers are coming. They're strengthening themselves, fortifying their alliances, partnerships. And when they decide to move, well, I ain't gonna tell you. Let me just wrap this up here. Should I skip this part? I think I'm gonna play this part. I got one more part to play. Hang on, one more part. We gonna discuss this, man. Where we at? Yeah.
Before the end of the Second World War, the West had been expanding. Its missionaries, its pilgrims, its soldiers, its explorers pouring out from its shores to cross oceans, settle new continents, build vast empires extending out across the globe. But in 1945, for the first time since the age of Columbus,
the man actually said it, since the age of Columbus. You can't make this up, family. They literally telling you. Yeah, we know who that is right there.
45. For the first time since the age of Columbus, it was contracting. Europe was in ruins. Half of it lived behind an iron curtain, and the rest looked like it would soon follow. The great Western empires had entered into terminal decline, accelerated by godless communist revolutions and by anti-colonial uprisings that would transform the world and drape the red hammer and sickle across vast swaths of the map in the years to come. Against that backdrop, then as now, many came to believe that the West's age of dominance had come to an end, and that our future was destined to be a faint and feeble echo of our past. But together, our predecessors recognized that decline was a choice, and it was a choice they refused to make. This is what we did together once before, and this is what President Trump and the United States want to do again now, together with you.
I'm going to pause there for a minute. Let me check these comments. Hold on a second. No to that. She's following the agenda. Rasmia with old new order. Trump got a new world order. You telling me? Rastaman, you talking foolish about DLP. I'm just sharing my point of view, my thoughts, man. That's just my thoughts. I'm not in the DLP, so you might be right. She's on board with the rest, NWO. Always being a selection from USA and all. Well, that's what I'm saying, family. A lot of folks don't get it, so you can't even fight the people who don't get it. Exactly. She needed to win to complete the agenda set out for Barbados. Well, Marcia, she didn't need to win. It was designed that way, deliberately that way, so she could do what she's about to do next. Because don't forget, they were sworn in today based on the Constitution. But what Constitution? We still do not have an official Constitution. So they're being sworn in on I don't even know what to call it. This is just a joke, man. The last election was a mockery, so they rushed and did it over to redo it again. I mean, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up, man. Greetings to you too, brother. It is a shame. Old set of players behind the curtain. The formula is refined. New toys, etc. But same objective. Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, family. Barbados will now see what time it is, because I'm telling you, Miss Martin is the best thing that happened to Barbados. I keep telling you all that. She's well aware of this speech before spoken. Again, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Colonizers, I want to take back the land. Listen, I with you on that, going and coming, but I'm gonna show you something. It is the how. That's why I said the corporation known as Barbados, man. That's what I'm saying. We got to be honest about it. If we're not gonna have that conversation, then it don't make no sense. The land now is too black and too brown. Too black and too brown. Anyone who pays attention knows America founded fathers are Europeans. America is a child of England, and he now they're like the prodigal child returning home. That's what they're saying. You should be proud of your color if you were there, and stop being inferior to yourself. I like that, Pedro. I like it. I like it. I like it. That's what we should be. But at this point, we should be proud of who we are as a people, especially the people who have gone through what we have gone through for centuries to reach the point where we are right now. Eswick, Paul Worrell, Dujon, Walden, Gibson, Rose, Griffiths, Seeley, Shepard, Philip, Marshall, Hines. Really, which one, if them representing the youth and further and future of this country? I like that PTSD. Listen, this is Miss Gilt's Maureen comment answer outline it clearly. Clearly. Nobody's against in fact, I ain't against the DLP, but I can't say I'm for them either. I am not against or for any of the two. I represent Barbados National Congress, the people. I shout out to FADE, shout out to the FADE family, BNC, National Congress, the Regional Congress. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. In fact, let me just finish this up. Emmanuel, agree with you. Rubio is reminding them that it was their ancestors who invaded and wiped out nearly all the indigenous. He sees only white Europeans. Hold on a minute, though. Let me let him finish the rest of this part. And I can play one more part. I can put the link up, but because there's more he said, but I just gonna focus on this last part. Hold on. Let me play this last part. Hold on a second. Let me go back here. Where we at? 14. Let me just jump forward here again to about here should be good.
To rationalize the broken status quo rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it. For we in America.
Wait. That was the part I wanted to see real quick. Hang on.
And this is why.
I just want to pause here for a second, because this was the first time the camera actually allowed, well, in terms of where it was to show you. There's one sister right there in the middle of the screen. I saw this black lady here of African descent, and two guys in the back. They were bald head, shiny, close to the top on the right hand side. There's the only three people I saw here, other than the one Muslim lady. Well, lady with her hijab on. I don't know if she was Muslim or not, but she had us over her head. Well, over a shawl over her hair, I should say. And this lady's position, I was just thinking, I saw her again a couple other times in it. Especially when the white folks were clapping. She wasn't moving. I told myself, man, I don't know how she would have felt, man. To hear this man speak like this to the room, man, you would have to be living under a rock, completely under a rock, not to become a little uncomfortable in a room full of white folks, like cheering and clapping this declaration. We talking about recolonizing and you doing it with AI and robotics. Like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You doing it with what? But anyhow, let me let this play. Let me just jump back in here. Give me 1 second. Let me just finish this last clip. The last clip. Oh man, this is crazy. You cannot make this stuff up. Like, they actually said this out in public. In public. They're not even hiding this no more.
Europe alike. So in a time of headlines heralding the end of the transatlantic era.
Oh, and by the way, I want you to listen to how he spoke about, listen, he gave this whole presentation, it's about 20 minutes, and never once mentioned the people who were the victims of their ancestral wickedness and evil. Never once mentioned it, except for this point. But listen to how he speaks about it. Listen to how he speaks about it. This is almost insulting if you were fragile, but listen carefully.
So in a time of headlines heralding the end of the transatlantic era, let it be known and clear to all that this is neither our goal nor our wish. Because for us Americans, our home may be in the Western Hemisphere, but we will always be a child of Europe.
We will always be a child of Europe.
Our story began with an Italian explorer whose adventure into the great unknown to discover a new world brought Christianity to the Americas and became the legend that defined the imagination of our pioneer nation.
Became the legend. Listen, you can't make this up.
Our first colonies were built by English settlers, to whom we owe not just the language we speak, but the whole of our political and legal system.
Okay, now this is the part I want y'all to listen to here. This right here. Let me just go back with this here a bit, because y'all need to listen to this. This is why the election is a selection. Listen carefully, family. Don't get it twisted. Miss Jilks, listen to this. Ralph Thorne is part of the problem. Trust when I tell you, because he's a king's counselor, right? What else is he a member of?
Our first colonies were built by English settlers, to whom we owe not just the language we speak, but the whole of our political and legal system. Our frontiers were shaped by Scots-Irish, that proud, hardy clan from the hills of Ulster that gave us Davy Crockett and Mark Twain and Teddy Roosevelt and Neil Armstrong. Our great Midwestern heartland was built by German farmers and craftsmen who transformed empty plains into a global agricultural powerhouse. And by the way, dramatically upgraded the quality of American beer.
Yeah, he thought that was funny. Anyhow, I'm done with this for now. Family, listen, man. Let me just put this, hold on, let me go ahead and copy this. This is the whole presentation. Let me put this in the link, right? The comments. I'm posting the link to that presentation in the comments. For those who are interested, they can go and watch that. It's there. Like I said, a lot was said, a lot more is said. I mean, literally, you can't make this stuff up. You can't. Right now, he's giving a presentation to NATO. NATO had just been put on alert. Like, look, this is what we're about to do. The ones our ancestors did it before, and we're looking to do it again. Now, a lot of folks will come on here tonight and get upset because I spoke with the DLP, perhaps in a way that they don't like. A lot of folks will come on here and might get upset because I spoke of Miss Motley and they don't like. But here's the irony about the two of these pillars. Unless you are involved in it, the level of the orders, according to Miss Bradshaw, bro, look, this is, it ain't what you think it is. It is not what you think it is, man. So if the politicians had the capacity to speak to you and tell you what was really going on, family, you would know, man. Europe was civilized by the Moors. That knowledge that he claims was stolen from Africa, the cathedrals, the cradle of civilization. But guess what? That may be true. He's not speaking about it as if it's the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, by the way. He's speaking about it as if it was his, about coming to Americas and farming and whatnot. That none of that was his. This is a narrative they're using to justify what they're about to do. They're telling a bunch of white folks, we're going to restore our ancestral legacy. All those great ones that came before. We're going to preserve that together again. Because he recognized the sun is rising in the West, America, the Caribbean. They're starting to notice the solidarity with Africa, what we call Africa, the motherland. They're recognizing, again, it's not about the fighting, it's about the connecting, and they're realizing it. It's like, no, we can't allow these folks to come back together, because if they come back together, we know what time it is. We know what time it is. So we need to come together now. Security Council, right? So why are there not any African nations at that Security Council? Africa better have its own Security Council meetings here. The Caribbean and CARICOM better have the CARICOM really can't have no Security Council meetings. The CARICOM members are agents. They are agents of this system. You know, don't get me wrong. Let me see if I can put that. Do I have it here on my phone? Ah, here it is. Let me go ahead and share this. I think this was most informative. Let me go ahead and post this. I'm sharing it. I'm sharing. I'm coming. Here you go. Here you go. This is exactly why. He said, you're chopping the speech, Pedro. Now, but I don't want to play the whole thing on my program, man. I don't want to do that. But it's on there. What ethnicity is this man? It doesn't matter what. Well, I'll tell you what. Shout out to the family, by the way. Baby Lee, the whole Lee family. Shout out to the family right up the top. What is who he's speaking to that really matters, man, because regardless of who he represents, he's coming across as if we are looking to restore the legacy of those who came before. Not all of a sudden was set and dated. I gotta agree. I can't even disagree. I see you know what's going on, man. I see you know exactly what's going on. Let me post this. Before I leave, I'm gonna post this. Hang on a second. The other video, where's the video? Did I have the video? I thought I did send the video. Hang on. I thought I did send the video. Did I not send the video? Hang on a second, family. I want to post this because I would definitely want to play this video before I leave tonight. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I thought I had sent it. I'll send it again just to make sure. Hang on. Share this with Emmanuel Barillia. There you go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, family. So why that set itself up? Let me go back here to this live. Okay, so that's done. So like I said, it's not a case where we are unaware of what's going on. They're talking about coming together, organizing themselves, and the Caribbean at this point don't have a choice. And that's why you find things like this is happening. And so there was another, well, what they claim rather, attack. That's all I could call it, an attack on a vessel. All order, WHO. That's why so many of the Black race fall, especially Caribbean people, because we continually deny our African heritage. Our people, no longer can we allow them to steal from us. Learn from Rubio. Listen, Pedro, I'm telling you, I give thanks for this because this man stood up there proudly in that room and did not denounce colonizers' actions of enslaving, murdering, slaughtering, genocide. Nah, he supported it. And in fact, he was hailing it on high. This is what we did before, and this is what we need to do again. Imagine that. Imagine that in 2026, they're having a meeting. It's like having a clans meeting right now in downtown Memphis and talking about lynching Black folks come this Saturday night. Like, really? Man. And then having it streamed on social media for the world to see, like, nah, we good with that. We cool. Calling all white folks to show up. Mayday, mayday. Serious, man. His parents are Cuban. Well, say no more. Say no more. Use of the pronoun we suggests that identifies as Caucasians, though though his Latino family lineage says differently. Well, not yes and no. Well, let me just say this clearly then. His Latino family lineage is really the biggest crime because Latinos did not exist before the 16th century. I'm going to say that again. Latinos did not exist before the 16th century. Prior to that, they were called Tainos. They were the Taino family, which we know as the original indigenous folks. But when the Caucasian Spaniards came, what they basically did was, well, they raped the women and killed the men. And they were done that for about 3 generations to basically turn Tainos into Latinos. Get it? Taino, crime. Now they became Latinos. No more Tainos. So that's where that came from. So his position is interesting. But anyhow, he's talking down to the colonizers, Europeans. Yeah, he's definitely talking down. He's acting as if they're better than them. But like he said, we're the child of Europe, the wayward child. Nothing new under the sun. Another wave of population replacement agenda. Yep. The useless eaters. Remember, that's what they call the Caribbean folks and other folks. I know these white people real confused. Oh, man. But not as confused as him. Man, he just doing his job, right? Like Miss Martin just doing her job, right? The enemy never send the enemy at you, man. They send your own, man. He from about here, and that's how he functioning. She from about here, and that's how she functioning. Thorne would have done nothing different. All of them were sworn in illegally again. Well, it was illegal, or show it to Aaron, by the way. My brother, not that they were sworn in illegally again. It was illegal from the inception. They inherited stolen land. They inherited a crime. They inherited what was taken from a people. Like he said, the colonizers gave us the legal system and the political system. And the same political system we have today, the same Westminster, the same legal system we have today, is the same colonial system that they're using all now. It's an illusion. They were illegal from the inception, including independence and everything else that came after that, including the Republic and everything that came after that. Miss Motley's not illegal in Barbados. They were always illegal in Barbados. The colony known as Barbados, the colony, listen to me carefully. I'm not even going back to the enslavers. The colony known as Barbados was, is, and plans to be here based on what she was saying. It is all illegal and in a sense of, let me phrase it. It is all unlawful. Bottom line. So it's just an illusion and folks are playing along with it. And the reason why folks are, in fact, let me put this post up real quick, Aaron, just because you said that. Let me put this up. Hang on. Let me put this up. Only because you said that, my brother. Let me go ahead and put this up here. I am not seeing, why am I not seeing that? Oh, wait a minute. That's why. That is why. Okay, there you go. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't seeing it. Let me go ahead and post this while I'm here. Allow me to put this up here. I could tell you it, but I'm going to show you it instead. Share screen. Video of image file. There you go. Put this one up. Let me remove this. I'm going to play this video of the military strike, but let me put this up first, Aaron. Let me put this up first. The oppressor would not be so strong if he did not have accomplices among the oppressed. I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Simone de Beauvoir, I think that's how you pronounce that. Interesting. The oppressor would not be so strong if he did not have accomplices among the oppressed. The oppressed of Barbados is pretty clear. We know who the oppressed folks are. That is not even a question. But the thing is, the reason why this colony runs so successfully is because they are accomplices. But we don't want to use that word. We have a different word. We have a different word we could use, but we don't want to be that vulgar. But accomplices, that's why things are the way they are. That's exactly why things are the way they are. Because there are people who, enrich and benefit themselves, and they benefit from the situation, taxing people and whatnot. Can you peel back the money, man? Give back the taxes they took from the people. Just give them back the taxes. Give them back some of the taxes, and watch how Barbadians become wealthy overnight. You've been taxed for not centuries, because first you was working for free. But since they decided to exploit the people, they give you in one hand and take back with another. When you was working for free, it was different. Now they still oppress you, but they give you the illusion that you're getting something. So they give you in one hand and take back with another. And this is why it works the way it works. And this is why, as a people, we are offended by anything and anyone who stands up and speaks truth to power. Could be subconscious fear, but that's what it is, man. That's just what it is, man. That is what it is. But nothing wrong with what he is saying. Other unions should do the same. Well, again, Pedro, they're proud of their heritage, right? I watched the whole speech. The camera pans on her twice. She didn't look happy. Yeah, I saw that. She didn't look happy at all, man. Like, that's not what she went there for. She went to hear him speak, but she did not know what he was going to say. In fact, they praised him. In fact, I can play that part. Them don't care about us. Michael Jackson told us that a while ago. Victims, they were property bought from your ancestors. This is it good to listen to these conferences and summits. They tell us their plans. Yeah. Yep. Somebody's saying pure lies. I guess you're referring to what he was claiming at the time about what they were doing. All I see are pale-faced barbarians. Well, guess what? They about to do their thing all again. Makalashi is a king. See, too, he might change it now. Nah, he mean, you know what, Pedro? I like that. That's the question right now. Will Michael Ashley denounce his case, his title? Because Miss Motley don't play that. He know, and Santia already gave him the warning. He might now say, nah, I ain't a case anymore. I read and ready. It will be interesting to see what he does regarding that. Mia is a KC. What point are you trying to make? Miss Motley is not a KC. She is not a KC. She's made that very clear. But then again, what you're suggesting is that they're all pretending. It's all a pretend. They're still counsels to the king, right? Even as a republic, right? Because after all, they did bring him here, right? And then gave him the keys to the city. The illusion of inclusion. Tell Mia to leave the Commonwealth. Well, you know what? Friends of all and satellites to none can also be translated as friends of all and enemies of none. So we black people now know what they are planning for us. But Maureen, if you didn't know before, consider yourself informed. I mean, the writing been on the wall. We've been on here for a few years telling you and ringing the alarm. You can't say you didn't know. A professional kiss ass ego stroke. Oh man, this is a little too deep. We got babies watching this program. Harley, you all right then. Africa scared them. Serious. CARICOM is a sham. All you, no comment, man. Scotland means black land. Of course, that's what I'm saying, man. You got to read between the lines, man. Both the Americas and Europes are the same cloth. Yep. So when you hear of alliances and building bridges with the African and South American countries, and many Bidens are apprehensive, they should listen to Rubio. They should listen, but we always have a choice. Like I said, I'm not supporting the BLP or the DLP. I support one Barbados, and that has always been my position. And by supporting, by saying one Barbados, it doesn't include or exclude anyone. I mean, it has to be a mindset. It has to be a mindset. I can't say it's these people only or those people or no. It has to be a mindset where we see ourselves together as one nation and work together. Now, if I say something about the Islamic community, they would say, well, you against the Islam, you against the Muslims. Well, I'm not against. I'm just saying, if you notice how society is structured, you notice that certain culture or certain people of certain cultures seem to be doing exceptionally well where others might not be. And if we're in it together, we should all be working for the greater good of all, providing we are really in it all together. Share the burden and share the bounty, right? The BLP and a DLP. I'm not sure. There might be an internal. That might be a conversation going on in the chat. It said, "Look, talk about the project and left out that theater." Willie Lynch set the foundation strong. I tell you, the work doing itself. The work doing itself. That's crazy. We should play back some of Bob's tunes. He told us way back what this world is about. We should not be surprised. Well, again, this is also a fact. This is also a fact. Let me drop this one here. Hold on. Right, here we are. Let me put this up. So, you know, this was February the 13th. This video is from February the 13th, 2026. U.S. military strikes alleged drug vessel in the Caribbean, killing 3 U.S. Southern Command. Alleged. So now here's the catch. Here's the problem with this whole conversation so far. It starts off by telling you that they're not even sure. The media is outlining this as an alleged vessel. But like I said, this is in the Caribbean, is where this would have happened. And, you know, folks are saying in St. Vincent that you could have seen this explosion. You saw this bright, big, massive explosion. And they said it wasn't just one explosion, it was 2. And so all I'm saying at this point, family, is that so the Caribbean is safe no more. So fishermen that going out to sea now got to be mindful and wondering, if I have my nets ball up in black plastic bags sitting on top, I don't know. This is some serious thing here right now, family. It's a serious thing. And again, we can marginalize it. We could say, well, you know, you don't know, and they're doing a good thing. What I would like to see now, though, is whether or not any of the Caribbean leaders will come out and say something. We have a new prime minister in St. Vincent. Not sure what his position is at this point. We'll do some more research and find out, because it happened and maybe we only found out in the last day or so. So then there's St. Lucia, prime minister, and then there's, you know, the CARICOM, then there's Barbados, and let's see in the next few up and coming days if we hear anything, family, about this incident and what the leaders, this is how you know who's who now, you know. Like I said, this is how you start to recognize who is who. Let me download this. We're gonna play this video right here. Yeah, play that one. Yeah, okay. Okay, here's the video. Okay, so I want to play this video in a minute. Like I said, I have a video to play. What time is it? Oh man, time to roll out. I don't know if look here, man. Again, my friends, my friends, my friends, my friends. Listen here, family. All I'm gonna say, right, is that we gotta pay attention. More so now than ever before. Not to so much what they tell you they're going to do, but what they don't tell you. Because what they don't tell you is probably more damning and more damaging than what they do tell you, which by itself has its own consequences. And this right here is an example of leadership. We'll find out just now who's who. Because some will speak on it, some won't. Let's wait and see. Because if fishermen going out to sea to fish to bring food in for the families and the countries that they reside in, respectively, are now to become the targets of some drone strike, some robotic device, or some AI making the assessment that that vessel is carrying some substance that they claim is a narcotic, that the lives of our men or women or fisher folks are in danger. And if that's the case, family, then you'll find folks don't want to even go out to the sea anymore. In other words, these devices are put in place to control maritime and maritime rules. But we ain't been paying attention. We've been too caught up being ready and ready. Ready for what? Money to trickle down in an economy that is built on slavery, where they owe you so much that you can never begin to imagine what it is. Now the promise and the hope of gaining something in the future comforts you as a fool. No, I say no, family. I say no. Who is these fishermen, firstly? Say, what can Caribbean leaders really do? We have no military might. That's one of the things he just pointed out. Europe, Joe said, Maureen said, fish prices bound to go up. Is that part of the New World Order that Mark is talking about? Well, I didn't even get into the world order or no world order or new world order or old world order. What I'm saying, we as a people need to recognize that we need to get in tune with ourselves, know yourself, recognize what's happening, work accordingly. Work accordingly. Times are changing. Writing is on the wall. So, like I said, though, I had another video to play before we roll out. Share your thoughts about this particular program. Share your thoughts what was said, what was mentioned. You can write a comment if you like. The other thing is to make sure you like and subscribe and share the thing. That's what people keep telling me. You got to tell the people. I like, why you got to tell somebody that? Like, if they're interested, they're going to come and subscribe and make sure they get the notifications. They're going to tune in accordingly. But hey, writing is on the wall, family. Those who have eyes to see, let them see here. Barbados will not be the Barbados. That's why Miss Motley said this is a whole new thing going forward, right? Yeah, all right. Wait and see, man. The digital ID, your new Trident ID. Buying and selling might be impossible in the future if you ain't got certain, certifications or indications, I should say. You're in part of the thing. You're going to be on the outside. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong being on the outside. Keep that in mind. The inside is where the problem might be. Hold on, wait. Pedro said, Obi, what? You ain't see the African king that pretending with the beads his ancestors got for selling slaves? Wow. What you talking about? All she doing is talking. What have Mia? Wait, hold on. What you talking about? All she doing is talking. What have Mia done? What have Mia? I'm assuming you mean done and making. Miss Motley can't do nothing she's not instructed to do, or she herself is taking orders here. She too is taking orders. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. But DLP, BLP, all is politics, man. All is politics, politics, whatever. Whatever, man. But go watch that video, family. I'm telling you, go and watch that video. Listen to what these folks talking about, man. They got a whole plan going. Whole plan. A whole plan. The narratives are being rewritten. And this is too long. I don't think I'm playing the whole video. But y'all might be aware, like I said, Spain banned social media for children under 16 years old. Completely ban it. Like no child under 16 years old will no longer be allowed on social media unless certain requirements are met. And although that maybe it has a good side to it, there's also some drawback as well. But they know why they're doing that. You understand? So although there's good things, because social media got a lot of negative stuff happening as well, but a lot of good things also happening. So, but anyhow, let me play this video for y'all tonight. This is the closing out video. Thanks for staying on. For those who stayed on, I know it's kind of late. It's after 12, yo. It's after 12. I gotta go. Okay, well, look, I just want to play this video though, Mr. Deer. I met this man first night in passing, and like I said, I wouldn't ordinarily do this, but he wasn't opposed to it, and therefore I let him tell his story. An elder, and I let him tell his story. And shout out to Pamela, by the way, as well, and the Tree of Knowledge, and the works that they do, and the works that she's doing to help other elderly in the community that need assistance. A lot of elderly folks are being taken advantage of in different ways. Again, anyhow, let me play this video. As you ready? Let me play this video. Like I said, I just want to shout out to the elder. Some of y'all might recognize him. I don't know. But this for me was touching. We had a whole conversation. It was just me being there at the time. It just happens that way. Let me just let this play. As you ready?
Good night. How y'all doing? Please, I would like somebody to help me, please. I'm going through something that I don't like going through, asking people for anything. And I live by myself. I have no help. I'm 71 years next month. I had an accident, hit and run. My first off 95%. And I really need some help, please. Who can ever help me? I don't like walking around asking nobody for nothing. That's not my style. My number is 826-5706. Who can help me, please? Do that for me, please. I live in Harsh Gap, Main Road. Thank you.
What's your name again?
My name is Denroy Deer.
Denroy Deer.
71 years next month.
71 next month. What about your pension? You don't get a pension?
I don't get no pension.
Why is that?
They tell me that I don't have it enough, and they pay me out. And then I went back in, people tell me I should get help. I went back in, they give me a form to fill out. And they said I can hear from them. I hear from them about 8 months after. And they tell me I'm not approved. So I'm supposed to get started on welfare. I'm just waiting on that. So who can help me? Please help me, please. Thank you very much.
I would like, you have a message you want to send to Mr. Motley, Miss Motley,
Miss Motley
or Mr. Dugan?
Dugan, please help me, please. I need some help. I really, really need some help. I have no one here to help me. They promised me that they'll come and they don't come, so I have to do everything myself. If I work on my foot in my house, it's full and then I can't move. All I do is go to therapy and go to the beach every day. That's helped me a lot. And I have to get that nice spray to kill the pain. Sometimes I don't have no money to buy. So please help me, please.
Well, what's your trade? What was your skill? What's your craft?
I used to work on a ship. And when I came home, nothing was there. And then I had the accident. Hit and run accident, and my foot is off 95%, as I say, and that kept me back from doing anything. I try to do some work, but as soon as I stay on it too long, it's full and I have to stop. So there's nothing I can do.
Okay. All right. We'll see what can happen out of this. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Let me get this number again. Hang on.
Who can help me, please? Do that for me, play Living Hearts Gap, man. Work. Thank you.
What's your name again?
My name is Denroy Deer.
Denroy Deer.
71 years next. 5706. Number is 826-5706. Who can help me, please? Do that for me, play Living Hearts Gap, man.
All right, family. I like I said, 826-5706 is his number. I also posted that in the chat, in the comments. For those interested in giving him a call, 826-5706. Mr. Dare, Glenroy. He said that they say he doesn't qualify for the pension at 71 years old. They say he didn't have enough in. I don't know how that works. He said they paid him out and didn't, but again, I don't know how that system works, that process works, but they claim that they care. Well, Mr. Dugan, do good. Mr. Do good, do good. First assignment. If you can't beat them, they say join them. But I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying since they want to represent, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable is all I'm saying, family. Hold them accountable. That's my position, man. Just hold them accountable. Bottom line, man. Right? So that's just how it go, family. That's how it go. We all living on this rock. If it falls, we all fall. We will all suffer. Well, we ain't gonna suffer more. We're gonna do what we gotta do, and the Almighty gonna see us through, man. We gonna be good, man. Shout out to Barbados National Congress again. All right, family. That's basically it for me tonight. That's my 2 cents for the program. Again, like I said, if you like the content, if you appreciate the content, then I appreciate you appreciating the content. Please, let me get this one. Let me go here real quick. Let me go ahead and share this page real quick here. Shout out to Malcolm, by the way, and give thanks for the assistance today. Much appreciated. Really, really much appreciated, man. Yeah. Anyhow, family, thanks again for tuning in. And we're going to do some work. I got a special tune to close out tonight that thought was quite interesting. I'm going to definitely play this. Some of y'all will appreciate it, but we're going to connect on Wednesday. And inshallah, we're going to continue the plans going forward. Like I said, you got to govern yourself, govern your community, govern yourself, govern your family, govern your community. And if these employees of the corporation on this Barbados, if they're going to do anything for you, like I said, hold them accountable, family. Hold them accountable. That's just the bottom line. Hold them accountable. That's just how it goes. So what I would suggest is that we pay attention to, like I say, your neighborhood, your neighbor, And look out for the little ones, look out for the elderly, look out however you can. Just make it happen. Make it happen. That's how we're looking at this thing. So until we connect again, I say thanks. Have a peaceful night. Haile Selassie first, Empress Reserve Many. Y'all already know. One perfect balance. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Pedro, I got a tune for you, Pedro. I got one for you too, Rhonda. And Beverly, add this to the file, man. This is a classic. This was another classic here. Hold on.
While going through some torture and strife, well, I sat and I asked myself, what is life? Why all the struggling to survive? Oh yeah, yeah. What is the sense in being alive?
Yeah, I gotta pull out one for the top, family. You know, Shadow. Yeah, story of life, man. Story of life. Pay attention, family. Listen to the words. Listen to the words.
While going through some torture and strife, well, I sat and I asked myself, what is life? Why all the struggling to survive? Oh yeah, yeah. What is the sense in being alive? You're small and your mama tell you you're born. You're fighting to grow up to be a man. You grow up, you fall down and bounce your head. If you're dead, you don't even know you're dead. What is life? Can anyone around give an explanation? What is life? Life is something no one will understand. Dig the trees, they grow big and strong just to be cut down. Tell me the true sense, this tree was ever in existence. Do you know? To enemy, the two fishes fighting for survival. Well, the big one will swallow the small. Then up comes a big shark from nowhere. Well, he makes a grab and swallow the bear. Then up comes this fisherman with his hook. He grabs the shark and he makes a hook. Next week he wind up in the cemetery, and worms end up eating he. What is life? Can anyone around give an explanation?
What is life, family?
Life is something no one will understand.
Can anyone give an explanation?
They grow big and strong just to be cut down. Tell me the true sense, this tree was ever in existence. Well, a worm in a valley feeding on germs, oh yeah, yeah. Up came a fowl who ate up the worm. And then a manitou at the fowl. And then a hunter caught the manitou on the prowl. Well, he shot the animal and he made a cook. Next week he wind up dead like a muck. And when he end up in the cemetery, same worms end up eating he. What is life?
What is life, family?
Wrong, give an explanation.
What is life, man?
Life is something no one will understand. Dig the trees, they grow big and strong just to be cut down. Tell me the true sense, this tree was ever in existence. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And I ask myself, what is life? Why all this struggling to survive? What is the sense in being alive? You're small, your mama tell you you're born. You're fighting to grow up to be a man. You grow up, you fall down and bounce your head. If you're dead, you don't even know you are dead. What is life? Can anyone around give an explanation?